Don't sign that employment agreement until you understand these 3 points. Hi, Simon from the Contract Company. Contracts, that's what we do all day, every day, and sometimes overnight, and we've done a lot of them. Righto, so you want to know what to look for in that employment agreement before you sign it? Good idea. So there are a couple of key things in an employment agreement you always need to look for. Obviously, there's the basic stuff, right, which I assume you're going to be all over. Things like, what is your salary? What are your hours for work? And what are your leave entitlements in terms of annual leave and carers leave and that sort of stuff. Those to me are the basics. You'll always check that because you're interested. But often what I've seen clients do when it comes to the other standard stuff in the contract, they just go, whatever, they don't really care. There's a couple of things in the I don't really care category that you really need to look out for. One is the non-compete, and that is a clause that basically says you won't go and join a competitive business or a business that competes with this business at some point in the future. Now that has a real impact because it can stop you finding employment with another business in the future if you leave this current arrangement you're about to sign up to. So that can, I was going to say negatively impact, and that's right, it can negatively impact your employment prospects in the future. The other thing too is you don't want to sign an agreement that's got an overly restrictive restraint. So in other words, it may say something like you can't work in this competitive industry for say 3, 6, 9 months within a certain region. You don't want to sign a contract that has that in there either, because that can also really restrict what you can do in the future. If you're a CEO and executive level, then it's normal to put in a restraint for executives. But for lower level people, it's probably not so important, so I would watch out for that. In this day and age too, with people freelancing and doing side hustles, I would also check as to see whether there is any clause that stops you running your own business. Now, I don't believe you should require your employer's consent to do that, as long as the business you're running on the side has nothing to do with your employment business. So let's say you're a lawyer and you want to sign up to provide legal services to some firm. That's what you're going to do for your day-to-day job. But your side business is making videos about marketing on YouTube. Then in my view, why should you need to seek your employer's consent to make something that's nothing to do with your work relationship? Anyway, that's just my view, and everyone else will, well, not everyone, but a lot of other people will have a different view about that. But just make sure that your contract doesn't require your employer's consent to do your side hustle. And those to me are the 3 key things you should look out for in any employment agreement. The general terms and conditions in terms of salary, pay, leave, or salary and pay are the same, sorry, but your leave, carers leave, salary, then you want to look at any sort of restraints, any sort of non-competes, and then any sort of obligations in relation to side businesses, etc. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us, simon@contractcompany.com.au or 1-800-355-455. Thanks very much.